because it is now time for the always popular Plays of the Week. And we begin Plays of the Week with Franklin Regional, as trailing at the half, the Panthers needed a spark, and Zach Bazuska provided it with the opening kickoff of the third quarter, as his house call got Franklin Regional's rally started against Plum. The one and only Jonathan Whaley captions the pictures.
Mr. Electricity, Aiden Udock standing back inside the 10, right in the middle of the field. Will they kick it to him? Or will they try all points to avoid him? Salino will kick it high but short, and it will bounce out to 23 on the far side. Picked up, and he's breaking through the line. He's through the line. That'll be down to the 40, to the 50. He's going down to the 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown. Zach Bazuska created a Zach attack from about, how about that start? About 78-yard kickoff return. He did it a year ago against Plum here at Panther Stadium, and it is the Zach attack that does it. Let's take a look. Gets it about that 18-yard line, and then he comes toward the middle of the field, gets some blocking there, and now there's a huge gap at the 35. He runs past 1, 2, 3, 4 Plum defenders, and he's going to take it home. And the Panthers have made it a one-possession game. Here comes the extra point by Bain.
Sean, this is going to sound a little bit like coach speak, but, you know, we talk so much about Zach Bazuska, who made a really nice return there. We talk a lot about Aiden Hudock, but how about the blocking, right? I mean, you need to have great blocking up front in the wedge, they call it, of a return. And if you go back and watch the replay again of this play, Nate Chirizio, who I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, Nate, he takes the Plum kid and blocks him all the way to the sideline. He wasn't the only one that made a nice block, but I guarantee when they were watching film on Saturday morning, the coaches were doing some hoot and hollering over that, because that was pretty sweet to see. But honestly, like, it makes it easier if you're one of those up men. It makes it easier to block knowing that any time those guys behind you could take one to the house. And certainly with that talent, I mean, it makes it easier. It makes you want to block for them because you know you can make a big play.
Yeah, and sometimes when I pick Plays of the Week, it is the most incredible type of play. Sometimes it's the most important play. I think this one, you look at it, it was a really incredible play, but it was so important because Franklin Regional was trailing. They needed something to get them back in it. We now see that they end up winning the game in close fashion. So a play like this, I think you don't have a kickoff return to start the second half. Maybe Franklin Regional ends up on the other end of it.
You turn to the Zach attack, baby.
Absolutely. We continue Plays of the Week with Greensburg Salem and Cody Rubrick. We've said his name so many times. He's been spectacular all season for the Golden Lions. He produced another highlight reel run late in the second quarter against Mount Pleasant. It gave Greensburg Salem a 1-point lead at the time. The triumphantly returning TJ DeStefano and John Bainbridge have the call.
Here's Rubrick going to keep it 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. It's a foot race and nobody's going to catch Cody Rubrick as he is into the end zone. A 70-yard run, and Greensburg Salem has it tied at 13 right now.
And that was a beautiful misdirection play, faking the inside zone and running old counter tray, quarterback counter tray with the backside guard and tackle pulling for Greensburg Salem. Payne and Riggs there led the way for Salem. And Rubrick has some speed.
Man, Cody Rubrick doing what he does. And that was a huge touchdown, Sean, right at the end of the first half there when things were certainly up in the air. And just another great athletic play by Cody Rubrick, man. And he has so much confidence in himself. I hope he's okay, and because he's so much fun to watch every Friday night.
Yeah, that's all about speed, because once he gets in the open field, it's pretty safe to say people are not going to catch him. Absolutely. Well, we'll stay with that same easy. I know you're excited.
Sorry.
We'll stay with that same game and now look at it on the Mount Pleasant area side, as it was the Vikings who ultimately prevailed thanks to an impressive second half. Lane Golkowski enjoyed a breakthrough performance on the ground, including his long touchdown run that put Mount Pleasant back in the lead just minutes into the third quarter, as detailed once again by TJ and John.
Second down and 4 now for the Vikings. Operate of a pistol formation here. This is going to be Golkowski, takes up off the far sideline, cuts it to 20, 15, 10, 5, and into the end zone. Second touchdown by Golkowski.
And again, they ran jet to the field, that time back into the boundary, and little jet reverse pulling both guards. Both guards for Mount Pleasant out there, Laychak and Eicher laid tremendous blocks.
So a 42-yard touchdown by Golkowski. He had a 4-yard run to open the scoring for the Vikings in the first quarter.
Hey, this thing's still shaking. How about that touchdown run by Lane Golkowski? Man, huge. I'd mentioned Cody Rubrek scoring right before the end of the half to give Salem the 14-13 lead. And then just a couple minutes into the second half, Mount Pleasant answers back just like that. And Lane Golkowski making himself a little bit of a household name. Again, that dual threat in the backfield for Mount Pleasant really makes it tough on opposing defenses. Good to see them get back on track, too, after that loss to Freeport.
And this is what I was talking about, because if you watch that, you're telling people to go back and watch plays again. If you're going to watch that one again, look at the attention that Labuda gets. I think there was 4 or 5 defensive players who not only went towards him, but maybe even tried to put hits or tackle him. And so it creates more of an opportunity for a guy like Golkowski. He's not having to see 11 defenders. He's maybe seeing half as many because of the diversion that Labuda created. So
and I also love,
advantage.
Sean, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I also love Coach Bainbridge, first year broadcasting with us here on the Westmoreland Sports Network. He is an offensive line coach. He will identify the guys that throw those big blocks after every, maybe even run, but every big run, certainly. So everyone always wants to talk about the skill position guys. Don't worry, hogs up front. Coach Bainbridge has your back.
Yeah, guys like Eicher that certainly deserve a lot of recognition because they continue to do it each and every week, and often it does not go in terms of the box score. You're not going to see the name, but it does not go unnoticed amongst the people who really love and pay attention closely to the sport of football. Well, we'll continue plays of the week and wrap this one up with Penn Trafford, as the Warriors failed to get much going offensively early against Norwin, but they found their stride on the final drive of the first half, culminating with a touchdown pass from Conlon Green to Daniel Tarabrella with just seconds left, and it staked PT to a 14-0 advantage heading into the locker room. Myself and Dave Franzak provide the commentary.
Kalisak's field goal last week was 32 yards.
Okay.
So
you're right in his range right now.
Yeah, this would be right around that, 34 specifically. Well, they are going to take a shot here. Thrown up, and Tarabrella comes down with it for a touchdown. 50-50 ball, and Tarabrella makes the play. Warriors up 13-0.
That was more of like a 60-40 ball. Steven Rogers had to really retreat to get back to coverage. Wasn't able to get back in time, and Tarabrella just climbs up over top and gets him. Catches the ball at the high point.
What a drive by Penn Trafford.
Hey, 50-50, 60-40. Dan Tarabrella's been making plays all season long. And Sean, I mean, he made all of his money on defense last year. But this year, he's been becoming such an important part of the offense, especially with some injuries like Jake Otto, who's been out, in terms of, the wide receiving core. And, of course, defensively, he still makes plays. But, man, that was such a big play in a game that, again, as we mentioned earlier, Norwin was right there at the end of the first half. But that, I don't know. I don't want to say it put the game away, because certainly there was a lot of time to go. It was only a 2-score game. But the way Norwin's been playing offensively, you kind of maybe felt that way.
Kenny Pickett comes into the game for the Steelers, and he starts throwing the ball down the field and giving his receivers a chance.
Yeah.
It didn't always pay off, but I think you love that type of mentality and the YOLO, throw it out there and let them make the plays. I thought John Norwin was going to kind of play it safe and just say, let's get this field goal. We don't want to risk throwing the ball in the field of play and then running out of time. Well, they throw it up into the end zone and say, hey, go make a play. Tarabrella did. I think that changes the tenor of that game, because instead of going into the half maybe off of a field goal, which isn't even a guarantee now without a guy like Schlesinger, you throw it up, Tarabrella gets the touchdown, all of a sudden 14-0 turns into a 28-0 final. So
does
big
Chase
play.
Claypool make that catch? Yes or no?
No offense to Norwin. I think at the high school level, he probably would come down with it. But if he's going against NFL guys, no.
Well, the defensive back for Norwin was probably just as tall as the defensive back that Claypool was, going up against. But I digress. We'll move forward.
Absolutely. Well, that will do it for Plays of the Week. Once again, our favorite segment each and every week.